Hold on, you guys. We'll be getting started momentarily. Give me a second. I want to ask the ushers in the church to close and lock the door because we about to have church tonight. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But give me a second, you guys. Let me get some people in here because I really felt I felt the necessity to speak on this because this is getting tired and I really have to break this down, and I'm going to explain this as thoroughly and be transparent as possible. So just stay tuned. We finna get cooking. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had to get set because like when I first heard when I first heard the content, when I heard then the audio of him speaking, this is one of these situations where like steam come out of your ears and your face turn red because at the end of the day, I'm getting tired of this. I'm getting tired of this. The thumbnail speak for itself where, he's spending X amount of money at the Louis Vuitton store, um, a non-black owned company. And I had to speak on this because I was deeply bothered by this, and I'm disappointed in Wallow for saying some BS like that because it goes both ways. Now, in case you guys don't know, and I'm gonna make this very clear. This ain't no Philly thing because I know Wallow is from Philly. This ain't got nothing to do with Philly or none of that stuff because I'm good in Philly. I got a lot of contacts in Philly. This is about him just saying some sucker stuff where Wallow trashed black businesses and called it a scam and called it a finesse. And I think that's a disservice to a lot of long-standing black-owned businesses. Okay, if you don't want to shop black and buy black, okay, that's on you. But don't call it a finesse because you would rather give them non-black people your money. And see, this is the problem. You shouldn't even be saying that out loud because other people be watching. So now eventually you're gonna have these segments where you're gonna have non-blacks or whites talking about, is there an obligation for blacks to spend with black? And then they're gonna try to call it racism. Well, I'm gonna make this very clear. Ain't nobody gonna make me feel guilty about spending money with my own. Once again, black people need to stop falling for the trap. We don't have to, I'm gonna say this once again. When we stop giving these non-blacks and these whites explanations on how we move, the better off we gonna be. What part you don't understand? We don't have to explain jack shit to them. How many times have I told you that? And like I said, we the only community that say this stuff out loud. We the only ones that sit up and trash each other on a regular basis. For real. And I think that's a great disservice to call black businesses a scam and stuff. Now, have I ran into black businesses that wasn't properly ran or operated? Absolutely. But have I ran into non-black businesses that wasn't properly ran and operated? Yes. But to just sit up there and just basically point the finger at black businesses because you want to continue to make these other people billionaires or make them millionaires instead of making black people millionaires and billionaires, to use that as an excuse, that's lame and that's weak. To just generalize black people and black businesses as a whole. And that's what I have a problem with, Wallow. You on some bullshit and it just need to be said. I respect what you did, how you came from getting out of prison and rebranding yourself and rebuilding yourself up. And now you sign like a multi-million dollar contract. Good for you. But to sit up there and then another thing and try to speak for all black people and say people don't give a fuck. Nah, that's not true. Because I give a fuck. And I don't appreciate you doing that. Because like I said, You give these non-blacks and you give these races an opening. So now eventually they're gonna have these panels. They're gonna be trying to guilt trip black people again. Oh, well, if you shop at a business just because it's black owned, that should be considered. So what? So what? Who cares? Who cares what you think? Who cares? Black people, stop explaining yourself to these people. We don't owe them an explanation. We don't have to explain ourselves. We don't have to justify ourselves. That's the problem. Now I wonder who gonna be the experimental token Negro to go on the panel that's gonna sit up there and try to volunteer information or basically volunteer himself to try to speak on our behalf about black businesses and all that stuff. Who gonna be the crash test dummy? Because it's gonna be somebody. And whoever does it, I'm gonna cook them. Yeah, I was really mad when I heard him say that. He sounded really ignorant and he need to knock it off. Wallow sounded, and if Wallow, if you see this video, I've seen you at fights, I'll be more than happy to talk to you about this. I'll be more than happy to talk to you in private about it. And the sad part about it is I've been to Philly quite a few times. They have some great black-owned establishments. I can tell you right now, I done been to other places where they have some great ran and operated black-owned businesses. And for him to say something like that is just very disrespectful and demeaning. To try to downplay the plight of what we went through and what we go through to try to establish black businesses. Nobody has to jump through more hoops than we. And when we start our businesses, it's a lot of loopholes that we have to try to get around. And then they throw a lot of obstacles in our way. A lot of times they try to sabotage black businesses. That's real talk. You can Google all this information about how black people were trying to start nail shops in urban areas, and then or start restaurants or start hair shops, hair supply, beauty supply stores, and then they had to sue the suppliers because they were trying to overcharge the black people for supplies. They were trying to charge them a higher rate than what they were charging their non-black counterparts. I'm gonna tell you a story, and this is real talk. Everybody knows I'm from Oakland, California. There, you can look it up. You can Google it. There is this black-owned barbecue business. I think it was started by the grandmother and the grandfather. It's called Everett and Jones. One of their main restaurants is in downtown Oakland, and they've been in business for decades. Great ran black-owned business. I know one of the granddaughters, I ain't gonna say her name, but they've been around for a while. Now, what happened was they had a booth, or should I say they had a spot in the Coliseum, the former home of the, now whatever they are, athletics, formerly known as the Oakland Athletics. And they had to sue the Coliseum. Do you know why? Because the Coliseum was charging them higher rent for their spot than what they was charging the other vendors. So see, that's the kind of stuff that they be pulling and stuff. So this is the kind of stuff that we have to go through. They only want to talk to black media when they down bad. That's when they want to talk to black media. I go through this with these boxers. Now, I'm not saying they all do it, but some of them do it. Now, guys like Tiger Johnson, Bruce Shoo Carrington, they always talk to me. But they the only ones that say it out loud. Oh, why do I have to talk to you? Because you're black. Well, why do you have to talk to a non-black black person? Why do you have to patronize a non-black business? So when I heard him say that that was a scam, that was a great disservice, and that was just the ultimate slap in the face to hear him say that. Listen, dude, if you cool with buying that high end stuff, then do you, but don't try to sit up there and try to justify it by lying on black people and black businesses and stuff. And then here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can look this up. You can Google non-black owned establishments that got shut down. Talking about is your restaurant clean? Well, in all likelihood, yeah. Because you have to pass ordinance to stay in business. And a lot of times they do surprise pop-ups sometimes. So to hear him like just generalize, I was like heated. I was really like bothered by that. Come on, Wallow, you know better. You know better than to say that. And then here's the thing. What if we got out of for real? What have we got out of patronizing these non-black owned establishments? Only to be disrespected and called the N-word with the ER, sometimes to our face. What have we gotten out of constantly going to McDonald's? You've been hearing what you've been hearing incident after incident with people saying racist stuff to black customers, and they're not owned by black people. Look what happened at H&M. Look what happened at Old Navy. Look what happened at Starbucks. Look what has happened to black people going to these non-black owned establishments. Now, you know, the usual suspects are going to agree with, Wallow, because at the end of the day, they ride the coon train and, they be eating them butter biscuits. But I expect, and I thought I would get better from Wallow. But then again, I forgot, they got their deal through Barstool. That's owned by David Portnoy, a known racist. David Portnoy is a known racist, has a history of racism. I think he bought back, he sold Barstool, and then I think he bought it back. But the founder of Barstool, who helped them get established, David Portnoy, when I say he is a known racist, he said racist stuff online. And then he tried to say that sneak racist stuff about Angel Reese. Of course. Of course they are. Them people ain't our allies. Them people are overseers. They overseers. They're what you call watchmen. And see, that's the thing though. We can't do nothing or establish ourselves without them wanting a hand in it, or them sticking their dirty white hands in it. Look what they did to Pop the Balloon. Now, like I said, I have issues with Pop the Balloon. I made that very clear how I feel about that show, but then I understand what it is to create something, and then here it comes, the dirty white hand sticking his hand in the pot. The typical, oh, we got it from here, or we want a piece of the action. But then they tell us to get our own shit, but then they won't let us own our own shit. If we don't cut them in, then they try to find a way to sabotage it, destroy it, or sneak and take it away from us. But these are the same people that tell us to get our own stuff. Yeah, they gentrified it. But that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna say this right now, and this is real talk. I'm gonna make this very clear. All my followers, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Instagram, I don't have an X account. I'm gonna say this again. If you have a business, if you own a business and you would like to do a segment, if you would like for me to send a shout out to your business, just get at me. No charge. I won't charge you nothing. And that's one thing about me. I put my money where my mouth is. I went to black owned establishments. I've advertised black businesses for absolutely free. And I've even bought the product when I was offered free product. I said, no, I will buy it just so I can put money in their, put money in their hands. So I practice what I preach. And I'm going to tell you something. This is real talk. This is a drop the mic part. Y'all that seen this with y'all own eyes. These people that's talking this stuff about they have no obligation to support black businesses. Let me tell you who they are, who some of these people are. These niggas that be sitting up talking that, oh, well, I have no obligation to support black-owned business. They do just like what Wallow do. They want to continue to shop at the Gucci stores and give Gucci and all them companies that they said and did blatantly racist stuff to black people their money. I mean, if you want to do that, go ahead. But don't try to put it on black businesses and don't try to lie on black businesses and say, oh, well, because black businesses are not properly ran. But I'm going to tell you something. This on the flip side, Wallo need to tell the whole side of the story. I didn't see this with my own eye. A lot of times black businesses don't survive because of other black people. Here's the thing. A lot of you niggas, you don't have no problem going in these black-owned establishments asking for the hookup. See, you always think you're supposed to get the hookup. See, you pay what those Asians want you to pay. You pay what those Mexicans want you to pay. You pay what those white people want you to pay. You pay what those non-blacks want you to pay. You'll do that on a regular basis. When you go to a black-owned business, you looking for the hookup. You don't have no problem paying what these other people want you to pay, but with us, you always want the hookup. They tell you. I done seen this done way too many. I done seen this done way too many times. Way too many times. I done seen this done way too many times. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh man, he charged too much money. I done seen so many businesses fail in Oakland because these niggas going to these establishments always want to hook up. And then if you don't want to hook them up, then all of a sudden they looking at you crazy. They start talking that black shit. But I'll promise you, they'll go in the Chinese restaurant. If the Chinese person say that'll be $12.99 or whatever the case may be, they're going to give them the $12.99. But the black person, oh, I only got $8. I only got $10. And then if you don't help them, they try to make it look like you some kind of sellout. Black people thrive on taking advantage of other black people. Why don't you just pay what we ask you to pay? It costs money to stay in business. That's why it's called a business. So to hear Wallo talking stupid the way he sounded like an ignorant buffoon. He was on that butter biscuit stuff and he should be ripped to shreds. And I'm ripping him to shreds to sit up there and try to say it's a finesse and a scam. Like I said, you niggas is the reason why black businesses in black areas fail. Because like I said, Mr. Wu, you will give him your money. Or Mr. Singh, you know what I'm saying? Or Mr. Sanchez, you go to Mexicali Rolls, I guarantee you go to Mexicali Rolls, you go to, what's the other restaurant they got in the Bay Area? What's some of them restaurants they got? Mexicali Rolls is closed. I forgot what it's called. Oh, La Piñata. I guarantee you, if you go to La Piñata in San Leandro, I guarantee you, if you get a bill and it say $36, you gonna pay that $36 with no hesitation. But if you go to a black-owned business and they say 36, oh man, these prices too high. These prices too high. These prices way too high, man. Hey man, can you let me slide? I got $28, man. And you have the full $35 to pay, but you feel like you don't have to give that black man that money. You feel like you should be able to keep some money. So it goes both ways, Wallo. Yeah, Tania, you know about Everett and Jones in downtown Oakland. They got a few restaurants. They franchise some of their restaurants, but if you missed what I was saying earlier, when they had the restaurant at the Coliseum, they had to sue the Coliseum because the Coliseum was trying to charge them more rent than they was charging all the other vendors in there. So I've been to the Everett and Jones in downtown Oakland. I went there about maybe 3 or 4 months ago. No, it was longer than that. I went there. Yeah, I went there around 6 months ago. Like I said, I know one of the owners from around the way. Everett and Jones is a long-standing black-owned business, and they got a few black-owned businesses. So to sit up there and say that we don't run our businesses like businesses, nah, that's bullshit. I gotta call it how I see it though. Like I said, have I went into poorly brand black-owned businesses? Absolutely. But have I went into poorly ran non-black businesses? Yeah, absolutely. But we always want to put the focus on the black businesses. But I'm gonna say this: if you a black business owner, you do have to run your business like a business. You can't run it like you on the corner. You can't. But at the same time, if you're gonna patronize a black-owned business, treat it like it's a business. If it's a restaurant, pay what they ask you to pay. If it's a clothing store, pay what they ask you to pay. A lot of times in clothing stores, especially the independent clothing stores, the mom and pop stores, if you spend a certain amount of money, they're going to give you a discount anyway. If you spend like $200 worth of stuff, they're going to take like $10, $15, $20 off anyway. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. I didn't shop in all type of different places. I didn't spend money with black owned businesses, and I've had a great experience. I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna offer my services. If you have a black owned business, if you want to do a segment on my channel, if you want to do an interview, if you want me to advertise, I told you I'll do it for nothing on the strength. But this goes both ways. There's a lot of black media out here for you black owned businesses to, enhance your brand, build your business. Y'all got to get at us sometimes instead of us getting at y'all. You want to keep the money flowing, you want to keep your name out there, you got to get at us. Just like when I get a chance, I'm gonna go down to West Oakland, I'm gonna go to Hyphy Burger, and I'm gonna tell you something. This is real talk. Yeah, there didn't been some black-owned businesses that kind of encouraged me and stuff, just like that dude that had the shoe company that Kyrie Irving was considering signing with. I requested an interview with him like 2 times, and he was like out of the Bay Area. He did not respond. But then I turn around to see him doing an interview with a white person. So yeah, it goes both ways from that perspective. But like I said, I'm willing to do my part. I'm willing to give you free advertisement. No charge. Real talk. I don't have to do that. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying, when I heard Wallow say that, I was like, is this nigga out of his mind? And then for him to be ranting the way he was, like, dude, come on, man. Dude, come on, man. You sounded like a black Klansman. Talk about nobody cares. Is your establishment clean? Yeah, yeah. In all likelihood, it's gonna be clean because you have to pass ordinance and city inspection. Sometimes they give you notice when they come in. Sometimes they just show up. Listen, at my warehouse, OSHA can show up whenever they want to. But then again, we pass inspection because we keep the warehouse clean. Before we leave the job, we take 30 minutes to clean up. We stop working at exactly 3 o'clock, 3:10. We take 20 minutes to clean up. Then we get up out of there. 3:30, we out the door. So I don't want to hear them excuses about black businesses. Like I said, that's very disheartening. No, I'm just saying it's a two-way street. So I'm saying at the end of the day, I'm willing to do my part. Now, people that contacted me, I didn't advertise for a few businesses. They didn't call me. I done went to a few businesses. But that's just real talk. Because that's me. That's how I roll, because I want us to flourish. And it's time for us to, what I'm saying, control the real estate. Because like I said, what have we got? No, ask yourself this. What have we gotten out of making everybody else rich? Nothing. My thing is, they say we have $1 trillion every year to spend. Well, why is it going to everybody else except us? Yeah, we got $1 trillion to spend. Why ain't there more black-owned businesses? Why aren't there more black-owned sports franchises? But then again, that's dead intentionally. So like I said, at the end of the day, a lot of times when we try to establish self-reliance, they try to monkey wrench us. So it ain't as easy as you think. When I hear these goofballs, that's why I laugh when I hear those goofballs like Myron Gaines and a few other people and Candace Owens talking that stupid talk. It's disingenuous and it's just a flat out lie. And what I find funny about people like Candace Owens and a few other people, Candace Owens sued somebody for racial discrimination, but then she tries to make it look like it's just black people that just making up stuff. Like I said, I done seen numerous reports from Brother Phil talking about how black people been getting notes with racial slurs written on there and stuff. You seen what happened to the brother in Houston, where that lady was trying to talk crazy about him in Spanish, and she had no idea he knew Spanish. You didn't heard all kind of incident. Didn't y'all not hear about what happened at Whole Foods, where some Mexican man profiled some black dude who spent like $200 on groceries? I don't know what led to it. I think he bought something and he was eating it or whatever the case may be, or he went to the they have what you call a deli and all them type of spots at Whole Foods where you can get chicken and all that kind of stuff. So they basically asked the dude, oh, where's your receipt? He had a receipt. And you know what he did? When they racially profiled him, he said, y'all finna get a lawsuit. He went to the cash register. He said, give me all my money back. And that's what you do. And when Gucci pulled that stuff, I don't know if y'all know, a while back, I went to the Gucci store and I clowned them. I did a live. It was the outlet mall in Livermore, because I went to that very Gucci store that had a code when black people came in that got sued. And I yelled out, do y'all still have a code when black people come in? And it was on the live. It's way down there. I forgot. I did that about 2 years ago, maybe 3. But Gucci, this is another reason why I wasn't surprised when it turned out that Gucci was racist and when Gucci was putting out racist apparel. Because I'm going to tell you this story again. I was at the Gucci store. Everybody knows that I'm a sneakerhead. That's no secret. I went to the Gucci store in Livermore at the Livermore outlets. So I went in the Gucci store and I saw these sneakers and I liked the colorway. They were some nice sneakers. So the lady walked up to me. She was some non-black. I think she was either Hispanic or she was I don't know. She was either Hispanic or she might have been white. But she walked up to me. I'm looking at the shoes, right? And let me tell you what I did. She walked up to me and said, oh, those shoes are $400 a piece. And I was like, and? That's what I said in my mind. I was like, okay. Oh, she one of them, huh? So she thought I was getting my Curtis Jackson on. She thought I was window shopping. And she acted like I was about to pass out. $400 a piece? Okay. And when she said that, I was like, okay, why you walked up to me and told me how much they cost? I said, okay, I'm finna teach her a lesson. So what I did was I bought two pairs. I bought a red pair and I bought a green pair of the Gucci sneakers. So it came to a total with tax and everything. I think it was like almost $900. Yeah, she thought she had it, and I made sure she was the cashier too. Let me tell you what I did. I walked right out the door, turned right back around, and I told her that I want my money back. I made her give me my money back. Is there something wrong? And she have to give me my money back. She have to give me my money back because she just have to. I don't have to explain to her. I walk right out that door, turned right back around, and said, I want my money back. And she tried to say, is there something wrong? And then I said, no, I didn't like how you came at me. You came at me like I couldn't afford the shoes. Oh, no, no, no. Listen. I cut her off and say, listen, just give me my money back. So she took the information and she said, oh, it'll be back on your card. But then I just wanted to show her that I could afford it. If she had shut her mouth and wouldn't have said nothing, she would have had a sale. So I was completely turned off to Gucci when they did that. So that's the point that I'm trying to make. You sitting up here talking about that black-owned businesses is a scam and it's a finesse, and we have no obligation as black people to support businesses because they're black-owned. Okay, well, why do we have an obligation to support non-black-owned businesses? For some reason, black people have this delusion, or they have in the back of their mind that they have to try to keep up with everybody. Black people love bragging about how much they spent on something. Not me. I'm past that point. I'm past that point. Nah, I ain't doing that. I'm past that point. I want to get it as cheap as possible. Y'all notice now I done started buying them Jordans when they go on them Jordan ones when they go on discount, or when they go to the outlet. I can wait it out. I don't be wanting to brag about, yeah, man, I paid 600. Like, okay, so what? Some black people have this sunken place mentality where they have to feel like important by being around certain, because we have this mentality that we don't measure up to people. So that's why when we go to certain places, or we have to buy this, we have to buy that, we have to spend this amount of money, we have to brag about how much we spend, because we feel like we trying to keep up and we trying to impress everybody else or other people. That's why I laugh when I see some of these silly women on TV or YouTube and stuff talking about the first date you got to spend $500. Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, okay. I could think of a lot more things that I could do with $500 besides wasting it on the date. If a woman tell you that there is a minimum on how much you have to spend on the date, she really don't like your ass. Because if she really into you, she ain't gonna care where you take her. She just gonna appreciate you spending time with her. So anybody that talk that, oh, well, you got to spend a minimum, and I'm gonna be honest with you, nobody's doing that. Oh, appreciate the super chat. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying, but that's what I do though. As black people, we don't have to explain our actions to nobody. The same way we don't have to explain why we put up the money. And from what I heard, that Carmelo Anthony is home now. They lowered his bail. We don't have to explain why we put up the money to help get him a attorney and help get him out of jail. We don't have to explain ourselves to nobody. Anybody that got a problem with it, I don't care what color you is, fuck you. and everything you stand for. I said it, I stand on it, I mean it. So I'm saying this to you, Wallow. If you cool, like I said, you can spend your money however you want to, but don't try to sit up there and try to point the finger and try to, you know what I'm saying, belittle black businesses because you want to give these non-black owned establishments your money. I could give him a whole list of black owned businesses. And like I said, they got some great black owned businesses in his hometown of Philly. So stop the cap, dude. Well, I'm gonna say this. If anybody knows anybody that's related or that's a friend of Carmelo Anthony, tell them my platform is open to them because I want them to have a fair shake at whatever happens in the future with the trial or whatever the case may be. Because he needs to tell his side of the story. Because everybody knows that the media demonized him, and like they always do, called him a thug, even though this dude was working multiple jobs, was a straight A student, and saved some white person's life. But the trajectory was the old Roger Ailes trick, demonize the other. That's what I'm saying. Wallow need to keep that stuff to himself, bro. Don't be saying that in public, dude, where them folks can hear you talking like that. And this just got out earlier today. Wallow was gonna get cooked. He gonna get cooked. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm being nice to Wallow. Y'all know usually a couple of years ago, I would have went in on Wallow. I ain't worried about him knowing karate. I don't care about none of that stuff. I don't care about none of that stuff. I ain't worried about none of that. And I'm going to say this again. This ain't got nothing to do with Philly. It got something to do with him sitting up there saying that sucker stuff that he was saying. That is some straight Sambo house nigga stuff. Stop saying that. Keep that stuff to yourself, man. Because it, like E40 said, man, they be watching. Stop trying to give these goofy ass non-blacks and these races a talking point to try to further guilt us. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that guilt stuff is running thin now. I mean, of course, they can go to the Charleston Whites and the dudes like the dude from Detroit, that dude. They can go to those type of dudes who like being around racists who look for white gratification. They can go to Tater Tots. You know what I'm saying? They go to that dude too. They can go to Tater Tots. You know who I'm talking about, Officer Tater Tots. They can go to all those dudes. They can go to fresh and bitch. They can go to all those dudes. All them dudes been proven to be clowns. All of them. But I can tell you right now, my platform is not going to be a safe haven for racism. Especially racism directed towards blacks. So you can go somewhere else with that. Wallow looking real stupid right now, and he look uneducated saying something like that, bro. For real, man. I'm gonna ask this question again. What do we got out of making everybody else rich? Once again, do you see these companies, these billion-dollar companies, giving back to us? Most of these companies then got rid of DEI programs anyway. But then again, DEI really didn't benefit black people anyway. It was really to benefit women and other minorities. So let's just keep it a buck on that. So, okay, cool. Nike throws, that's cool. Every once in a while, Nike will throw, a tournament or stuff. They'll have, sponsorships for, kids and stuff. They'll sponsor basketball programs. Okay, cool. But at the same time, that's a tax write-off. If you spending 80 something million or less than that, when you worth billions of dollars, that's a tax write-off. What is Elon Musk giving? The man is what is he giving back? Everybody and their mama didn't bought a Tesla, but what is he giving back? What does Jeff Bezos do? If that's the case, since y'all so hell bent on spending money with them, when y'all gonna pressure them to do something for the black community? Since you want, when is Gucci gonna give back to the black community? Oh yeah, I forgot Gucci don't even really like black people wearing their clothes. When is Louis gonna give something back to the black community? Riddle me that, Batman. Oh man, I don't even listen to Marcellus Wiley. Marcellus Wiley is a cornball. He a cornball too. He another cornball. That's it. He listen, dudes like him and Fatlock, they trying to get back on TV. And they will go through any means to get back on TV. Because they don't have no dignity, they don't have no integrity. Once Marcellus Wiley was trying to say, well, what is black excellence? You know what it is, nigga. And see, that's the thing. What they do now is they try to use dudes like them to try to guilt trip and try to be like some Negro whisperer, to try to make black people feel bad about celebrating and being proud of who we are. Well, I'm going to say this real talk. You can get the middle finger. We don't listen to dudes like Marcellus Wiley, Jason Whitlock. We don't listen to these goofballs that's on YouTube. We don't listen to Candace Owens. We don't listen to those people. We don't listen to Charleston White. Those dudes are clowns. They're minstrel shows. Why would I pay attention to dudes like Myron Gaines and Charleston White that don't add nothing to the equation? Myron Gaines ain't even really black. He more Arab than he is black. And he can't back up none of the stuff he say. He got destroyed. He got destroyed by Tariq Nasheed, and that was the end of the story. I don't listen to people like that. I don't pay them no mind. I don't give them no attention because I already know that they full of it, and it just need to get said. Marcellus Wiley, Fatlock, them dudes just trying to get back on TV. They trying to get back on the sports network. But they can't cut the mustard. That's all it come down to. They can't cut the mustard. You know, that's all it come down to. But I just want to make this very clear before I end this video. The shaming is over with. The shaming is over with. Wallow, you out of pocket, bro. You out of pocket, bro. You wrong for that, man. You generalized a whole group of people, man. You ain't no better than, like I said, you ain't no better than these other people on here. But keep doing you, man. Keep spending $1,000 with Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Do you, bro? You can spend your money however you want to. But don't try to, you know what I'm saying? But don't try to justify it. Don't try to hide your guilt by trying that you don't want to mess with black businesses by trying to shame black businesses and trying to call black businesses a scam. I can't roll with you on that, dude. I can't. I he claimed to be black. He claimed to be black. Cause I swear I could have sworn that he claimed to be black. I'm gonna just leave it at that. You know, he just sounded stupid though. He just sounded stupid. I didn't even want to play the audio of him going in on black businesses. And then I heard some bed wench in the background. Yeah. Shut up, bitch. Like, shut up. You too. Shut up. I listen, I'm gonna tell you the realest talk y'all ever gonna hear. Black people, unfortunately, is the easiest people to fool and con. It's been proven time and time again, and I hate to say it. Look what happened with Jim Jones. It's easy. It's easy to win over black people. If I said this before, and I'm gonna say this again, if you can make whatever ideology you have sound legit, if you can sell the lie and you know it's a lie, but if you can make it sound good, you get people to believe you. It's easy. I'm serious. It's easy to build a cult. Say what you want to say. Like, don't you remember what Eddie Murphy did on Vampire in Brooklyn? It was funny, but at the same time, it was some truth to it. Don't you remember when, you know what I'm saying, when he transformed into that preacher? Don't you remember what he was talking about? Necessary evil is good. And then at the same time, it sounded so good, he was able to sell it. And what happened 20 minutes later? They were sitting up clapping and singing, talking about evil is good and all that. That's the truth. That's the truth. If you can make it sound good enough or legitimize it, people will fall for it. Me, myself, I'm not easily swayed. I told you, I'm not easily moved by the white guy that's seen Boys in the Hood. And like I said, that have the Tupac collection that has, you know, All Eyes on Me. I'm not easily moved by that. It doesn't move me. But I'm just trying to get you to understand it's easy to do that. It's easy. I mean, sometimes it's easy to I'm sorry. I hate to say this, but it's true. It's easy to infiltrate the black community. Black people gonna have to keep their antennas up. We gotta stop being moved by everything, even by black people. Because a lot of these people was agents. Like I keep saying, a lot of these people out here that you call celebrities is agents of chaos. That's real talk. They're plants. They are flat out plants. You know, I'm just saying. But anyway, you guys, appreciate y'all tapping in. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. But Wallow, you wrong, bro. You wrong. And if I see you at a boxing match, I'm gonna have to holler at you about it. Cause I need some clarity on what you was trying to say. That's just real talk.